There are a few things you should really know before you start manufacturing. This will make the entire process much easier and much smoother, and will also make sure you don't get scammed or something in that regard. Alright, I'll explain to you real quick. The first thing you should really know is MOQ. MOQ stands for minimum order quantity, and is a very important word because you're gonna ask every manufacturer before you start what their MOQ is. For example, if you go to a manufacturer and their MOQ for hoodies is 1000 hoodies per colorway. Of course, as a starting brand owner, these manufacturers will not be good for you. So find someone who has the right MOQ for you. The next thing is GSM. In the last module, I already told you a little bit what GSM was. GSM is grams per square meters. It's actually measured by like cutting a hole in a hoodie and then measuring the weight of the hole, and then you can know how much that hoodie weighs per square meter. But I of course don't want to cut holes in my hoodies, so I just ask the manufacturer what the GSM of a certain hoodie is, or a t-shirt or a pants or whatever, and then you know how thick it is. If it is a high GSM, the thicker it is. For example, a hoodie with 500 GSM is going to be much more thick than a hoodie with 300 GSM. And a hoodie with 800 GSM will be much thicker than a hoodie with 500 GSM. Alright, so how much GSM is good for you? For hoodies, the perfect GSM for me is about 400 to 500 GSM. It's pretty thick, but not too thick, so it's too heavy and too warm for the summer. It's just a perfect all-round hoodie. If it's lighter than 500 or 400 GSM, then it's gonna be a bit too thin for my liking. Of course, for like a summer, like lightweight, breezy hoodie, is of course no problem. Or if it's like a very cheap hoodie, then it's also of course no problem to do a cheaper and lower GSM, because the higher the GSM is, the higher the price of the hoodie. But don't be fooled, having a higher GSM doesn't mean your quality is higher. People always brag about having like 1000 GSM or something like this, but then the hoodie is just getting too uncomfortable for me. For me, if the hoodie is above like 600 or 700 GSM, it gets too heavy and feels too much like a jacket. And then you can't use it anymore in the summer or something, or in the warmer like months. So a hoodie of 400, 500 GSM is perfect for me, and is also the industry standard. So next up are different types of printing. There are a bunch of different ways you can like make your clothing. You can do embroidery, you can do printing, you can do embossing, or like have even patchwork or some special stuff. I'm gonna discuss the most commonly used ones today. Alright, so let's start off with the most simple and basic one, screen printing. So this t-shirt right here is screen printing. It's one of the most used manufacturing techniques and one of the most easy ones. So as you can see here, you have this little print right here. I'm gonna show it closely to the camera. Bam! As you can see, it's actually done through like having an actual screen like this, and putting it on a t-shirt, and then you can with ink go over it, and then you can create cool designs like this. And then with a lot of heat, you can make sure it stays on forever. So that's one big problem with screen printing. You can't really do it at home, because if you do it yourself, the ink will probably go out really quickly and customers won't be happy for this. So screen printing. This is really good if you just want 1 or 2 colorway designs. It can be really a handy way to print because it can be done cheaply. A lot of people can do it and it looks just clean and it stays on forever. So screen printing is a way I really recommend. So this is a 1 color screen print, but you can also do multiple color screen prints. Here is a multiple color screen print. It has about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 colorways in the design. And the problem is with these kinds of designs that it can be really expensive to do a screen print in these. When screen printing, you have to pay per colorway and per print. Like if you do a print on the back and then one on the side or something, you have to pay per print. So this design can be really expensive, because you pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about like 5 or 6 like printing times, which can be like 5 or 6 times more expensive than just making a single color screen print. That's why I recommend for your first design, I just recommend you do a 1 color screen print, because it's pretty easy, pretty cheap to do, and it can look really good. Or for example, you can do a multiple color screen print like this one, but just keep the colorways limited. Just 2 colorways to make it a little bit contrasty and a little bit more special, but it's still pretty cheap because it's only 2 colors. And as you can see, screen printing can be really detailed. Like here, for example, there are a bunch of different like small details, like these bats here, for example. If you can see them, they're just really well done, and really well done, and it's pretty cheap to screen print. Screen printing is one of the best techniques you can do. Then the second technique, which is pretty similar, is puff printing. For example, this text here above is puff printed. It's pretty similar, but the difference is that with a normal screen print it's just flat on the t-shirt or hoodie itself, and with a puff print it sticks out a bit, which can be really cool. Broken Plant, for example, really pioneered the puff printing hype. They are really famous because they do everything puff printed. So puff printing can be really cool just to switch it up and do something different once in a while. Or if you combine it like this one, for example, you do puff print combined with screen print, it can also look really good. Alright, let's move on to the next one, embroidery. Like this one, for example. And embroidery is pretty basic as well. You can just like have some thread, like stick it in there, and then you've embroidered a t-shirt or a hoodie or something else. Embroidery can be really good because it looks very premium and expensive to make, and because it never goes away. And a screen print, although it lasts a very long time, it can wash out when you wash it like 50 or 100 times or something, but an embroidery never goes away. It just stays on forever because it's knitted in the item itself. So embroidery, it looks really cool. It can be more expensive to make depending on where you make it. If you make your embroidery overseas or like in the Portuguese manufacturers or something, then it can be pretty good qua pricing. But if you do it in Belgium or in Netherlands or somewhere local, it can be really expensive. So embroidery are only recommended if you do like smaller designs or something, or if you do bigger designs, you have to do it overseas. Otherwise it will just be too expensive. And you can also do the combination. For example, here I did the embroidery combined with the screen print, which has a really nice finish. It makes it look like more special than just embroidered or than just printed. Yeah, it looks more qualitative, if you can see what I mean. So embroidery, screen printing, puff printing, screen printing, you can combine it all, but of course it's gonna be more expensive if you do combining. The most cheap way to manufacture is just a normal screen print. Yo guys, real quick, I just launched something new, a clothing brand Discord community. It's totally for free. It's the first link down in the description. It's called Brand Academy, and I really want to make this the biggest clothing brand Discord in the entire world. I've also put a bunch of interesting resources in there, like mock-up packs, tech packs, manufacturers, designers, stuff like that. So guys, really check it out, and I'll see you guys in the clothing brand Discord. Then there are also some more special ways to print, for example DTG. DTG is digital printing. It can be really good if you want to do a lot of colorways or if you just want to do just a few t-shirts. If you're gonna do a big batch, like for example 1000 items, then I really recommend you don't use DTG. But if you're just gonna be doing a few, or if you're just starting out and you want to do something with a lot of colorways, you can truly do it. It's a bit more expensive, but it can look also really good. Then you also have embossing and debossing. Embossing is, for example, if your logo is stamped to an item. For example, on the bottom of the shoe, the Buchan logo is stamped on the sole. This is an embossed logo. And debossing is the opposite, if your logo sticks out from the item. For example, on this pair of sunglasses, the Buchan logo is put on the side of the sunglasses. It's done in metal, which is not the most regular debossing method, but it can be really cool and qualitative. These can be good if you're working with leather or with like some other materials like this. For a hoodie, it doesn't really look good most often, but on other stuff, it just really, it looks nice. For example, on jeans, on leather, on patchwork, on all these items, it looks pretty good. So embossing, debossing, some of the most special ways to print. And then sizing. How do you make a perfect fit for your hoodie or t-shirt or pants or shoes? I recommend you just take your favorite hoodie from your closet or from your favorite brand and you just take all the measurements of them. I already explained in the previous module in Tech Pack section how to make your perfect fit. So this is actually just the way to do it. Just measure everything from your favorite hoodie and just take the perfect measurements. And if your favorite hoodie has like too long sleeves or something that isn't just quite right, you can make it right with your hoodie and create the perfect fit. Alright, and once you found the perfect manufacturer for you, you're gonna negotiate prices. Of course, if you order like very small quantities, like 50 hoodies or something, you're probably not gonna be able to negotiate. But if you're ordering a lot, for example, I ordered 500 of these hoodies and 500 sweatpants and 1000 t-shirts, that's 2000 items from the same manufacturer, I can truly negotiate the prices. Because I know they really want this order, so I can lower the prices and make sure I have a better deal. For example, on t-shirts I saved €3.50 per t-shirt. Times 1000, that's 3,500 euros just by one negotiation. I do this every time and it saves me so much money. And don't be afraid, because you don't have to order a lot to negotiate. You can negotiate with every price the manufacturers tell you. If you order 1000 hoodies, 100, doesn't matter how much you order, always try to negotiate the prices and try to get the prices down. It's really important because it always works. And when manufacturing overseas, it's really important that you know how they're gonna ship it to your house, because they have import costs and they can also be really expensive if you don't look out. So always ask the Chinese manufacturers if they have DDP. DDP is when you pay a shipping price and the import price at the same time. So you don't get like some fines or some invoices later on when you think everything is paid, and then all of a sudden you get like 500 euros from UPS or like DPD or something. So always use this shipping method when possible. And in that regard, always ask the Chinese manufacturers how long shipping will take. Because oftentimes there's a fast shipping method which takes like 3 to 5 days, but it's gonna be really expensive. Or you have slower shipping methods that take like 30 days, but can be a bit less expensive. Or sometimes even 60 days and can be like really dirt cheap. So always ask them which are the shipping time options. Alright, really important. Then I've got some quick ones for you. First of all, neck labels. Right here is the neck label of my t-shirt. Where to find neck labels is in Dutch Label Shop. That's the best place to find neck labels. It's really cheap, they have really good quality, and they deliver worldwide, and it is a good place to order neck labels. So all links are down below. But neck labels, you always have to ask your manufacturer if they can do the neck labels for you. Because I did it in the beginning, I just had my sewing machine, I did all the labels myself, which, believe me, is a ton of work. And I really recommend nobody does it. So just ask manufacturers. They probably have some in-house like sewing people or something, or they have like some other factory that they can work with to put the neck labels in the t-shirt or in the bag or in the item itself. So always ask your manufacturer if they can do the neck labels for you. And then for packaging, it's always recommended to ask your manufacturer what they can do. For example, my shoe manufacturer could make these very cool like shoe bags. I first ordered them myself with another manufacturer, but it was so expensive, and also the time it took to put the shoes in the bag themselves took so much time. So now I just asked the manufacturer, yo, can you make these types of bags? And they just said yes. So now they just get delivered from the factory in the bag itself already, which is really cool and saves me so much time and money. So always ask the manufacturer if they can make certain types of packaging, because they probably have some other factories in the neighborhood that can make packaging for them. And then for the shipping bags, I recommend either you do just some normal blank shipping bags. You can order them on like bol.com or Amazon or something. It's all linked down below. But you can also do your own custom packaging. And let me be honest with you, these are even cheaper to make than those on bol.com or Amazon. So once you start already getting some orders, I really recommend you invest in some cool packaging for yourself and your business. So these I just made in China on Alibaba. You can find my supplier down below. It's a really good one. I've been working with them for like about a year or two. So yeah, I really recommend you just send them a message, say you come from Buchan, and then order some cool packaging. Alright, these are the things you should know before you start looking for a manufacturer. And now let's start looking for a manufacturer.